It was in the next few days after the devastating tornado that stories began to spread about the butterfly people. On May 22, 2011, the T5 tornado that ripped through Joplin, Missouri, destroyed entire neighborhoods and left a new barren landscape. Over 900 homes were lost, thousands of people were injured, and 161 people lost their lives. The damage resulted in this tornado being the costliest in U.S. history. In fact, to some, it was miraculous that some people had managed to survive the worst of it. What was more shocking, though, were the stories that began to pour in from children, claiming that they and their families were protected by something more than just sheer luck. They claimed that they were saved by the butterfly people. In fact, children from all over Joplin, of varying ages, socioeconomic backgrounds, and religions, claimed to see butterfly people that kept them calm or protected them during the storm. Some even said that they saw these beings carrying people through the sky. Others reported seeing strange white lights. These butterfly people were described plainly to be people with wings. Some compared these descriptions to that of angels. Some described them as an unexplainable, unknown presence. Others said it was simply hallucinations or the children's way of dealing with the trauma. Many stories circulated about the butterfly people in the months after the tornado. Even skeptics were really unsure of what to actually think of these stories and were admittedly shaken by the widespread reports. We may never know what really happened, but let's explore some of the stories so that you can try to come to your own conclusions about what really happened that day. The first story involves a young girl, only 3 or 4 years old, who was in the car with her mother when the tornado began to come near them. In a panic, with the tornado coming closer and with no time to reach shelter in nearby houses, they decided to flee their car. They jumped out of the car and the mother immediately covered her daughter as they took shelter. A few moments later, the mother watched the 200-mile-per-hour winds pick up their car and fling it towards them. She held her daughter as she braced for impact. However, a couple moments later, the tornado had passed and there had never been an impact. The mother was in shock because she knew that that car was coming directly at them. Her daughter then looks at her and says, "Weren't they pretty?" The mother is obviously confused by this and she doesn't really know what she's talking about, so her daughter continues. She asks her, "Didn't you see the butterfly people?" She goes on to describe how she saw these butterfly people flying through the air saving people and that they saved them from their car. Another story was told by 2 cousins, Lage, 14, and Mason, 10. After the tornado, Lage was pulled from the rubble of what used to be a hardware store. After recovering him, doctors were so convinced that he was dead that they actually sent him to the morgue. Mason also narrowly survived after getting hit with a piece of metal debris that pierced her body. Doctors said that if it had hit her even an inch over in any direction, that it would have been fatal. The 2 cousins were in their grandparents' truck when the tornado hit. The truck was picked up by the winds and tossed over 300 feet across a parking lot. Lage was thrown out of the truck and Mason was pinned inside. And although they were separated after this point, they both described seeing the same thing. People with wings. Mason describes feeling a hand on her shoulder as she was laying in the truck. She said that at first she thought it was Lage, but when she opened her eyes, she instead saw 2 butterfly people, one brunette and one blonde. She wasn't even scared though, and she said that they helped keep her calm so that she could survive. Overall, she described their presence as very, very calming. Another story tells of a little girl who was in the car with her father when their car got tossed in the air by the winds. They both survived this, and the little girl claims that she wasn't even afraid because the butterfly people were sitting in the car with them. Another account tells of a 4-year-old boy who actually watched 2 butterfly people hold down his father's car as the tornado was about to whisk it away. Yet another story describes a 4-year-old boy who was tossed into the air and thrown by the wind over 6 miles into a field. When rescuers found him, he told them that he had been caught in the air by the angels and that they had brought him to the ground safely. A different story describes a father with his 2 young sons. They were caught outside during the tornado. The winds were so intense, it is claimed, that the soles of the father's shoes were ripped off. But again, they were not hurt at all. Debris is flying rampantly through the air, but again, no one is injured. And of course, the 2 children later described that 2 butterfly people were hovering over them and protected them. Those are just some of the stories. There are more still. For some reason, these mysterious creatures seem to have only been seen by children. Reports were varied, but all described the same creature. People with wings. They described the butterfly people standing and flying around the storm, protecting and saving people from the flying debris and winds. As time went on after the tornado, more and more children would come forward with their stories about the butterfly people that day. The sighting of the butterfly people that day in Joplin, Missouri soon spread to mainstream media, and it was a captivating tale for many. Was it really possible that butterfly people, mysterious creatures, had saved people that day? And if so, what made them come out during this storm and not other large storms or tornadoes? Again, the truth may never be known. To this day, most of the residents of Joplin know about these stories of the butterfly people. In fact, a mural was later constructed in Joplin entitled The Butterfly Effect that was a memorial of the storm, the survivals, and of course the people that perished. The mural actually features a butterfly person that was taken directly from drawings that children did who claimed to have seen them. Joplin leaders were hesitant to feature the butterfly people in what was originally supposed to be just a community mural project. But after suggestions from the community, they decided to do so. In any case, they say that the mural represents the metamorphosis and rebirth that Joplin went through after the tornado. They think that it can stand as a symbol of hope and encourage others to do good. In fact, the butterfly people soon became a powerful image in the community and were featured in various murals, public sculptures, children's art projects, and elsewhere. People, of course, do have various opinions on what really happened that day. Many children, now older, still stand by their statements of what they saw in the storm that day. Some people see it as the only answer as to how so many people survived the tornado, the aftermath of which was described looking like a war zone. However, of course, some people still think that it is impossible that these beings were ever in Joplin. Whatever the case, Joplin, Missouri experienced a tragedy that day in 2011, and the memory of what was lost should always be remembered and respected. In the very least, the butterfly has become a beautiful symbol for the city as they continue to rebuild. This story is certainly perplexing, but as they say, sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. What are your thoughts on this story? Do you think that butterfly people really saved Joplin citizens from the tornado and its path of destruction? Have you ever heard of similar creatures being reported elsewhere, maybe during other storms? Do you think that there could be some sort of psychological or just more ordinary explanation for all this? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear them, so please leave them in the comments down below. Anyways, that is it for this video. I truly hope that you all enjoyed learning about the butterfly people of Joplin and this compelling story of survival. If you did like this video, please make sure to give it a big like. That really means a lot to me. And of course, please do subscribe to my channel. I make 5 new videos every single week, so there's plenty of content always for you to binge and be entertained, so I know you love that. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button and also turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time I do post. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all have a wonderful, amazing rest of your day, and I'm sending you all of the good energy. I will see you on the next one. Bye!